Coming back to the issue taken up, values in religious and cultural systems of India, I would like to say first that if I'm asked to describe the core values in the religious and cultural traditions of our country in nutshell, I would say that four Purusharthas form the essence of the whole value system in our culture. Previous speaker, Professor Rutger, was also talking about Dharma, and the learned chairman, whom I could listen partly, was also pointing out to the concept of Purushartha, which is a paradigm for life in our cultural system. Purushartha, Purushasya Artha, means the aspirations or goals of a man, of a human being. And there are four Purusharthas, and they indicate the four goals of human life. So every human being, be it a man or a woman, aspires to achieve these four values involving four goals in our life. And these Purusharthas thus encompass the values, whole value system which our seers have envisaged. And practicing these values, one can achieve the goals of human life. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. These are the four Purusharthas. Dharma is named as the first one. And Dharma forms the basis for everything. The whole precipice of life depends on Dharma. Dharmo dharayate prajaha. The concept of Dharma says that it is Dharma which sustains every being, which sustains this cosmos, this earth. So, Dharma is named as the first. Even Vatsyayana, who has written a text on one of the Purusharthas, that is Kama Purushartha, he is the author of Kama Sutra. In the very first sutra of Kama Sutra, Vatsyayana says, Dharmartha Kamebhyo Namah. This is the first aphorism of Kama Sutra. And he salutes Dharma, Artha, and Kama. And the next sutra is Tesham Purva Purvo Gariyan. Out of these three Purusharthas, the earlier one is Gariyan. The earlier one is more substantial, more valuable. So Kama is named as the third one. So Artha is more substantial, more requisite, and more important than Kama. And Dharma finally is more important than Kama and Artha to Vatsyayana, who is authoring a text on Kama Purushartha. Normally, a person writing on some Purushartha, I would say that my Purushartha is the best one. But Vatsyayana, the author of Kama Sutra, says that Tesham Puru Purva Gariyan means the earlier one is more significant and more important than the later ones. Dharma is much more important than Artha, and Dharma and Artha together are more important than Kama. Even to Vatsyayana, who is supposed to be author on a work on sex, but Kama Sutra is not at all a work on sex also. That is a very wrong conception about Vatsyayana's Kama Sutra, and I would come back to it. And so, what is Dharma? That is the biggest problem. And since we do not understand what is Dharma, a lot of wrong practices in our society, lots of wrong practices in our society go on the name of Dharma. So there are certain big issues, big core values which form the periphery of Dharma, which form the paridhi of Dharma. They are very well defined. Ahimsa Satyam Asteya, Shauchimindriya Nigraha, 10 values. Even Dharma Shastra texts also cite them. Dhrati Kshama Damosteyam Shauchimindriya Nigraha. Rihir Vidya Satyam Akrodho Dashakam Dharma Lakshanam. These are the 10 fundamental principles which comprise the gamut coming under dharma. So dhrati is patience, kshama, forbearance, dhamma is controlling the sensuous organs, asteya, not stealing, shocha is piousness. So all these truth and controlling the anger and learning, these are the 10 core values which are attached to which form the concept of dharma according to one text, but there are so many other texts which define dharma. So how to understand dharma? Because there are other values which other thinkers have added to these 10 core values, and even 10 fundamental principles are cited in other religious traditions also by Musa, Hazrat Musa also. In Christianity also there are 10 fundamental principles. So the number of 10 goes and there are 10 values cited on the discussing the concept of dharma. So the later traditions attach greater value to aparigraha or tyaga, and with tyaga the concept of charity or dana comes. So these are some core concepts: non-possession of things, non-acquisition of worldly things. You can acquire worldly things, but you are not attached to them, so that there is a spirit of giving them away for the benefit of others. So you live in the world with a spirit of sacrificing your limited self for the greater self. That to me forms the essence of dharma. That a human being is not living for his own self, but he is living for the benefit of the humanity, for the benefit of the society. And all the values should be used. This should be the paradigm for all the values which are counted on the name of dharma. Whether this will lead to a larger benefit, whether this is for my own benefit or it will lead to the emancipation of human beings, to the betterment of our society, any act which we perform on the name of dharma should be judged on this norm. Therefore, Mahabharata, which is the greatest exposition of dharma to me, and lots of discussions on dharma are there. Bhishma in Mahabharata says that there are two types of dharmas. There is a larger dharma, you can say a bigger dharma, or you can say the real dharma, and there is a limited dharma. There is a small dharma, you can say. And he said that the small dharma should not come in the way of the larger dharma, of the bigger dharma. I had a problem of translations, and Bhishma was not giving any word for the one dharma and for the other dharma. He said that there are two dharmas. And he said that dharmam tu badate dharmo nasa dharmo yadharma tat. The dharma which comes in the way of dharma is no more a dharma. It becomes adharma. You can write the first dharma with capital D, and you can write the other dharma with small d. That you can do. Or you can say the real dharma and mithya dharma. But Bhishma is pointing out that these two types of dharmas are there. And the smaller dharma you can practice. Your rituals, your trikal, sandhya, your puja, your worship, your temples, everything. But they are part of this small dharma. An individual for his own satisfaction is practicing them. And if they come in the way of this big dharma, which is real dharma, they become sin. Even they become heinous sins. So lots of crimes are performed on the name of dharma. And we should understand, we should find a kind of balancing view to distinguish between real dharma and mithya dharma. Our society is being misled many times by the exponents of that mithya dharma, and lots of acts are lots of crimes are performed on the name of dharma. Pashubali might have been a part of dharma at a time when it didn't create any imbalance in the ecosystems. Maybe the animals, wild animals, were much more in number than the human beings. Maybe the agriculture was not there. Maybe the crops were not there. There were forest, and wild animals were there, attacking the human beings. So, yajna involving Pashubali was a way to create a kind of balance in the ecosystem. Now, if you slaughter animals, if you slaughter a cow in a yajna, to me it will be a heinous crime. Cows were slaughtered in Vedic yajnas. Clear-cut definitions, clear-cut descriptions of yajnas involving Pashubali are there. And Vaidiki hinsa na bhavati, this precept is also there. Now, if this practice, which is a part of a small dharma, it will remain dharma as long as it doesn't disturb the balance, as long as it doesn't come in the way of the greater dharma. What is greater dharma? That maintaining the balance in the ecosystem, maintaining the equilibrium, maintaining the dialogue between nature and human being, maintaining the harmony. This is the bigger dharma. If you disturb it by any act on the name of dharma, you are doing a crime. So the people who are misleading the society, they should be told what Bhishma is saying, what our great thinkers like Buddha and Mahavira are saying. So many possessions we are acquiring without thinking what will happen. 6-lane roads are being made in a town which doesn't so much need 6-lane roads, which needs trees more than the 6-lane roads. Trees are being felled down. Every day in the town where I live, hundreds of trees are cut down to create 6-lane roads. Why this is being done? Because people are earning money by building 6-lane road on the name of development. By creating highways, they are earning money. And they are cutting trees. And we need more trees to create balance in our environment today than these 6-lane roads. We could have done without 6-lane road. We could have lived other way by living the life of aparigraha. But we have moved away from the real dharma, and a lot of imbalance is being created, and the whole system, whole ecosystem, the whole universe, the whole earth is suffering because of that. So I only wanted to say, if you are talking of inculcating value systems in our educational, religious and cultural systems, think what we are doing on the name of dharma. Talking about dharma and appreciating the concept of dharma is there. We have given this concept, and we are Jagat Gurus, and we are very dharmic people, and we have led our life in dharma way. But we should also consider how much we have drifted away from the real concept of dharma. So this was what I wanted to say about one of the Purusharthas. The second Purushartha is Artha. Artha is not economics. Yavati bhumi tavan artha. This is the definition of Artha given by the author of Artha Shastra, Kautilya, in the last chapter of Artha Shastra. And Artha Shastra is also not economics. Artha Shastra involves all the principles of governance, town planning, rural development of arts and technologies, science, crafts, and maintaining the society, creating a balance in the society, relationship between the king and his subjects, and relationships, international relationships also. So this is what is Artha Shastra to our ancestors. And even Artha Shastra is governed by dharma, because a king rules according to the dharma. And the rules of Dharma Shastra, of course, are there, but they should also be governed by the larger concept of Dharma. If the rules of Arthashastra, be it Manusmriti or Yagyavalkya Smriti or any Smriti, if they come in the way of the larger Dharma, which is harming the equilibrium, balance of the ecosystems and harming the society in any way, they should be done away with. So Arthashastra also should be governed by the larger precept, larger concept of Dharma. And Kautilya in this way discusses the concept of Artha. And a king should perform his Dharma by ruling according to the principles of Artha. This is the concept of Artha. And in this way, sometimes even the principles which involve the larger issues of life, like ahimsa, aparigraha, satya, they are to be done away with if they come in the way of the real dharma. A king has to enter into the war if an enemy attacks unjustifiably his country. If our neighbor attacks us, then we have to enter into a war with that country. So ahimsa is all right, but sometimes hinsa has to be adopted to maintain balance and equilibrium. Sometimes we have to take recourse to violence and hinsa. A king has to punish the criminals. So hinsa has to be done that way. To maintain dharma, sometimes you do away with the concept of ahimsa. Sometimes you do away with the concept of satya also. So Bhishma then gives the illustration of Kaushik Muni. There was a Kaushik Muni who had taken a vow of speaking truth always, and he was performing penance in his hermitage. And some pilgrims came running into his hermitage. Some dasyus, some robbers were chasing them. And those poor people, the pilgrims, they took shelter behind the shrubs in his ashrama. They thought that this is a real pious place and we can hide here. And those robbers, those dacoits will go away. And those dacoits asked Kaushik Muni that we give you a shapath to speak truth. You tell us where are those people whom we were chasing. Kaushik Muni, who had taken a vow of speaking truth, spoke the truth that they are hiding that way. So those dacoits chased those poor pilgrims, they looted their wealth and killed them. So that Kaushik Muni reached hell after his death. And he asked Yamaraja, why I am here? I have throughout my life never spoken any lie, and I performed penance always, and I have led a very religious and pious life. Yamaraj told him that you are a criminal because speaking truth, you murdered poor people. So you are a criminal and you are in a right place. You deserve this hell. This is the story given by Bhishma to again distinguish between dharma and adharma and ruling the society. Even a king has to discriminate between truth and untruth. Truth sometimes becomes a lie. A lie sometimes becomes the real dharma. The Kaushik Muni should have told them a lie that I don't know, or they have gone the other way. He could have saved the life of the people. So by committing this so-called adharma, if we can save the society, it becomes dharma for us. Cutting a tree becomes adharma now, even if you cut it for worship, for any pious sect, because trees are required much more than any kind of worship now. If you are felling down the trees on the name of dharma or on any for any other purpose, then it becomes a part of adharma. So even for governance, Kautilya gives how to protect environment, how to create a balance, how to maintain this harmony in the society. So maintaining the harmony it is more required. Now coming to the third Purushartha, that is Kama. Lots of misgivings and misunderstandings are there about the concept of Kama. Kama is the basic urge to create something. And the core concept of Kama is defined in the Nasdi Sukta of Rig Veda. There was nothing. Everything was enveloped in the layers of darkness. Ani davatam sudhyata dekam. Tasmad dhanya parah kinchanasa. Nothing was there. Neither death, not life. And something was vibrating within that. The seer Dirghatamas, or whosoever is the seer there. Asit tat tapasas tan mahimna jayatekam ani davatam swadhyata dekam. Something was vibrating, something was within there. And Kamastadagre Samavartatadhi. Then Kama was born. It was the first element. And it is the first element signifies the desire to create, to multiply, to make oneself larger, and to beautify this world. So the energy, basic energy of life and the creative energy of life, the fire to create, that is Kama. Therefore, Kama is sometimes equated to Agni also. And Kama signifies making the Nirakara Sakara, manifestation of Rupa from abstraction. This is Kama, the desire for the manifestation of abstract thing into a form, formless into a form. This is what Kama means to the seers. And Kama is supposed to be the son of Shraddha. In the Brahmana text, Kama is the son of Shraddha. Shraddha is one of the wives of Manu. And that is dedication and devotion to life leads to Kama, which is desire for creativity, for beauty, to make life more beautiful. Even Vatsyayana in Kama Sutra gives two definitions of Kama. Shotratvat chakshur jivva ghrananam atma sanyuktena manasa adhishtitanam sweshu visheshu anukulyata pravritti kama. All these sense organs of a human being, they are performing their vyaparas in the world, and soul is presiding. Soul is presiding over the mind, and mind is governing these sensuous organs, Shrotra, Tvak, Chakshu, Jivva and Grana, that is ears, skin, eyes, tongue and nose. All these sense organs are having experiences in the world, but they are governed by mind, and mind is finally presided by the soul. So this whole process is the process of Kama. This is what Vatsyayana says. This is the larger concept of Kama to Vatsyayana. And he says that for practical purpose, we can also say that Sparsha Vishesha Vishayat Asya Abhimanika Sukhanuviddha Phalavati Artha Pratiti Kamaha. by touching of the bodies, you derive a kind of pleasure, and that pleasure also is kama in a limited sense. But Vatsyayana speaks of kama in the larger sense. He discusses the beauty of life, the whole aesthetic of life, how a citizen or a Nagaraka, a man of taste, should maintain a garden, his drawing room, his routine. So the whole life should proceed in a beautiful way. So life is beautiful because life is a gift of God. Anandat dev kalimani bhutani jayante anandam prayanti vishamichanti. The Supreme Being is Ananda Rupa, and everybody is aspiring to achieve that Ananda. So life is beautiful. We are not sons of sin, like the Christian concept. In Christianity and in the whole European civilization, the concept of sin is there. So human beings are born out of sin and they should get rid of the sin. We are not sons of sin. We are born out of bliss, Ananda. Unfortunately, the whole concept has been lost. So the author who is writing a Kama Sutra is not writing a book on sex. There are 7 books in Kama Sutra, out of which only the second book, Dvitiya Adhikarana, is concerned with Chumban, Alingan and sexual practices. The other 6 books of Kama Sutra, they discuss the life of a housewife. Bharya Adhikara is there. They discuss the practices of marriage, how to perform marriage. They discuss the beautiful life, the beauties of life. So how to lead a life full of love and beauty and aesthetics of life. This is what Vatsyayana discusses. This is the concept of Kama. But this whole practice of Kama shouldn't come in the way of Dharma and Artha. That is the idea. So finally, the thinkers say that Dharmartha Kama samameva sevya yohi ek sakta sajano jaghanya. This also comes in the Mahabharata. Twice this stanza has been repeated. Once it comes from the mouth of Bhima. So Dharma, Artha and Kama, they should be practiced in a balanced way so that there is a harmony in life. Dharma is not religion. Religion is something quite different from Dharma. Religious practices, whatever that goes in the name of religion, may be a small part of Dharma. But our seers used to call Rita, the whole framework of Rita has been taken by these 2 concepts of Satya and Dharma. So it is the cosmic order. Rita is the cosmic order. And Dharma should maintain that cosmic order. Satya also should maintain that cosmic order. And Kama and Artha, the whole practices, the whole gamut of practices under Artha and Kama, they should be in accordance with Dharma, so that a kind of equilibrium is created. So if this balanced view of life is taken up, adopted in our society, Dharma would develop into spirituality. We will see the divinity in each and every phenomena. If you just try it, it is not such a fairy tale I am telling you. Even I can experience it by leading a pious life of aparigrahan, by thinking that I am not performing any act for myself alone. I am doing it. I am sacrificing my limited self for the benefit of the society. I am speaking today here. I am a very busy person and I had so many other things to do. I could have done better things. My wife may be angry with me that I am devoting so much of the time. But I thought that this is, by speaking that way, I am doing something for the others. I am not doing it for myself only. Maybe that I some kind of benefit also I am deriving out of that. That may be a very small thing. So I am doing many things every day, which I am not doing only for myself. So a dharma leads you to that emancipation and to that spiritual arena of life where you are joined with divinity. So if this balance view is taken, and kama and artha are not overruled that way in this balanced view of life. So kama and artha, love and beauty and material prosperity, they also form very important ingredients of the whole life cycle. So this is the balanced view, and I have tried to interpret Mahabharata and even the characters of Mahabharata by viewing this, by taking into consideration this view of Purusharthas, because Mahabharata is a text on Purusharthas. Dharme cha arthe cha kame cha mokshe cha bharatarshava yadi hasti tadanyatra yanne hasti na tat kvachit. All the four Purusharthas are expounded in the Mahabharata, including there are chapters in the Mahabharata which deal with Kama Purushartha. There are chapters in Upanishads also which deal with the Kama Purushartha, and there are seers in Upanishads which are sources, which provide sources to the author of Kama Sutra, Vasyayana. Vasyayana says that Shvetketu earlier had written a text on Kama Sutra, and I am indebted to Shvetketu. Shvetketu is a Upanishadic seer. He is son of Uddalaka. Uddalaka is also an exponent of one of the masters of Kama Shastra. He has also given a Kama Shastra. And Upanishads speak of that Kama Shastra also. There are passages after passages in Brihadaranyaka and Chandogya which deal with Kama Purushartha. So our concept of Purushartha is not viewing these Purusharthas in isolation. So no Purushartha stands in isolation to the other Purusharthas, and by creating a harmonious practice of three Purusharthas, you walk into the spiritual arena, that is emancipation of your life, that you may call moksha, that you may call the realization of the divine, whatever you may call it, any way you can define it. But the three Purusharthas form the basis of that. So there are three Pandavas, sons of Kunti, and the other ones, two, Sahadev and Nakula, they are sons of Madri. And when they speak, it appears to me that these three Pandavas, Yudhishthir, Bhim and Arjuna, they represent three Purusharthas in the Mahabharata. This Yudhishthira obviously represents Dharma. He is called Dharmaputra. He is the son of Dharmaputra. He might have been the biological son of Vidura, as Iravati Karve suggests, whatever it may be. But Yudhishthira is identified as an epitome of Dharma, all the values which fall under the concept of Dharma. And Bhima mostly speaks out of Kama. This may be a very wrong This may be said to be a very wrong interpretation of Bhima. But whenever I study the character of Bhima, I find that he is a very loving personality. He is full of love for everybody. It is Bhima who was the real lover. He loved Kunti, his mother. He loved Draupadi as his wife. He loved Hidimba. Arjuna may not be that much of a lover, you see. There are women in his life. So many women come in his life. He leaves them. He leaves Draupadi very easily and goes to Vanvasa. It seems that he is very happy leaving Draupadi also. But Bhima, such a emotional person, you see. So love forms the core of the character of Bhima. I have formed this notion of the three Pandavas on the basis of their discourses they give to Yudhishthira in the Mahabharata. When in Ashwamedhik Parva, Yudhishthira is thinking of performing an Ashwamedha, and he is also in a fix. Many times he speaks of quitting the world. I must quit. I have got this this kingdom, this state, by killing so many people. I have committed adharma. Many times he is very disturbed. So Bhima gives a discourse on Kama to Yudhishthira and says that if you are doing away with Kama, you can't achieve anything. Your life will be incomplete. It's a very beautiful discourse by Bhima, and it forms Kama Gita. There is a Kama Gita in the Mahabharata, only of 6 or 7 stanzas, but that is called, those stanzas are called Kama Gita, and they are spoken by Bhima in the Mahabharata. So there also Bhima to Yudhishthira says that Dharmartha Kama Samameva Sevya Yoyega Sakta Sajano Jaganya. So you should create a balance of the 3 Purusharthas. But one point which Bhima makes there, it is also a very considerable point. He says that even if you practice one Purushartha without disturbing other Purusharthas, you will be emancipated. Even if you practice Kama only without coming in the way of your Dharma and your Artha, you will be an emancipated being. Because one Purushartha really doesn't come without the other Purusharthas. You can't practice real Kama without adopting real Dharma and real Artha. You can't be a true lover if you have done away with Dharma and Artha. So live a life of a Rasika, Nagaraka, adopt Kama as the core value, but create a balance with Dharma and Artha. Ultimately, you will be an emancipated being. This is what Bhima is saying. You may disagree. You may have be having vehement disagreement with this statement. I agree with it, of course. And if you are living a life of Dharma, but not shunning away Artha and Kama, creating a balance out of the 3, then also you will be emancipated. And if you are living a life where Artha Purushartha is dominant, but you are creating a balance with Artha and Kama, with Dharma and Kama, and Artha is dominant Purushartha in your life, ultimately you may be emancipated. You will be a Mukta Purusha, like Janaka. Janaka has all the properties. He is a king. He is ruling the kingdom. So he has to deal with Artha Purushartha. The whole his routine is as per the Arthashastra system. But he is he is a Mukta Purusha. So creating harmony of the 3 Purusharthas doesn't mean that out of 75%, 25% of Dharma, 25% of Artha, 25% of Kama, and then remaining 25% of Moksha you will get. There may be one dominating Purushartha and other Purusharthas may be following it. But there should not be any imbalance. Any imbalance would disturb the harmony of life, the harmony of the harmony of this whole ecosystem. So the whole Purushartha concept points out to the harmony of life, harmony of the environmental systems, and the cosmic balance. So let me finish here. I am thankful to all of you for giving me a patient hearing. Thank you very much.